Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about climate. This video examines the claim that multi-year sea ice is disappearing. Multi-year sea ice is ice that has survived more than one summer. It is harder, thicker, and more resistant to melting than ice which formed just over the past winter. The press is full of stories, as recently as today, claiming that multi-year sea ice is disappearing and that Arctic sea ice extent is at a record low. In 2009, experts claimed that multi-year sea ice was already gone. So it's a little hard to explain how something which was gone in 2009 is now disappearing. In 2008, Norway's leading expert actually predicted that the Arctic would be ice-free that summer. Leading experts in Canada and the US predicted that the North Pole would be ice-free in 2008. This included David Barber from the University of Manitoba and Mark Cerise from the National Snow and Ice Data Center here in Boulder, Colorado. Based on the predictions of an ice-free North Pole by people like David Barber and Mark Cerise, Louis Pugh tried to kayak 800 miles to the North Pole from Svalbard. He made it about 30 miles before he got stuck in the thick ice. So what is actually happening with multi-year sea ice? According to Norway's OSI-SAF, Ocean and Sea Ice Satellite Application Facility, the area of the Arctic covered by multi-year ice has actually tripled since 2008. It's at the highest level in a decade right now. You can see the huge increase over the past decade in the animation on the right. Multi-year ice is shown in white. This is 2017. It's gotten much larger than it was back in 2008 and 2009. The standard response from climate alarmists when I show them this data is to say that, yes, that's true, but the volume of sea ice is down since 2008. That may be true, but it's very misleading. The map on the left shows ice thickness on May 2nd, 2017. The map on the right shows ice thickness on the same date in 2008. You can see that there was a lot of thick red ice north of Greenland in 2008. But this is very misleading because the ice in most of the rest of the Arctic was much thinner in 2008. This ice is less than 1 meter thick. This year, the ice in the Beaufort Sea is the thickest it's been in a decade, and the ice in the Chukchi and East Siberian Seas is also much thicker than it was in 2008. And look what happened to that thick red ice during the summer of 2008. Between May and September, it almost all disappeared. Ice north of Greenland drifts out into the North Atlantic and melts. The location of the thick ice is very important, and the thick ice this year is very evenly distributed, which is exactly what climate alarmists seeking funding don't want to see happen. And what about the claims that ice extent is at a record low? This also is untrue. The blue line shows ice extent in 2017. The purple line shows ice extent in 2006. They're exactly the same right now. And 2006 was the year with the highest summer minimum of the past 12 years. As is almost always the case with news from climate alarmists, the claims that multi-year sea ice is disappearing are just fake news. The coverage of multi-year sea ice has actually tripled over the past decade. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science for a long time.